system.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the next edition of the Losers Lounge podcast. This is episode number 66. If there's only an additional 6, we're talking about hell. So 666. Boom. Wow, what a very interesting coincidence. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the review of WWE Hell in a Cell, which took place this past Sunday. And I've got quite a number of people with me here today. First off, please welcome two-time Losers Lounge Member of the Year and Optimistic Hall of Famer, the heelist of Ballers.
And once again, with Brother Maracle, always giving the best introductions on this channel. What is up, guys? The heelist of Ballers, Sin Balor, Prince Balor. You should know the freaking rest. If you don't know the rest by now, then what the heck are you doing here? It's good to be back on the podcast, and I'm ready to talk about this show, and let's get into it.
All right, and next up, ladies and gentlemen, we got some guests joining us. Please welcome, first off, returning to the Losers Lounge podcast is our good friend, Kmoney.
What is up, everybody out there? It's me, Kmoney, back again. You know, I'm just always happy to be here and just chill with the boys and talk some wrestling.
That's
so
right.
Thank
indeed.
you once again for having me back here.
And ladies and gentlemen, Kmoney, of course, here is actually nominated for 2020 Losers Lounge Guest of the Year on this upcoming Optimistic Awards on December 1st. Voting polls of which are going to be starting off from November 1st up to November 12th on the YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. So go follow my social media for more updates.
Not bad, not bad.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Losers Lounge podcast for the first time ever. This is our good friend. We call him Steep.
What's up, guys? Pleasure to be out here with my fellow brothers. We're going to be reviewing Hell in a Cell. Sit back, relax. You're in for a treat.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
It's really cool. Steep, you got some podcast experiences, but it's always good to be on the fastest rising podcast in the YouTube wrestling community known as the Losers Lounge.
That's right.
Hell yeah. That's where we are.
Mm-hmm.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to kick things off talking about, we're not going to talk about pre-show because that was just a 24/7 title match that nobody cares about. All right. The show began with a match that I thought should have been the main event of the show. It was a Hell in a Cell I Quit match for the Universal Championship between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. And when I first found out that that was actually opening the show, I was honestly pissed off. I was like, that has like the biggest story going into the whole damn show. That's the one match everybody's looking forward to the most. That should have been the main event. Actual main event of which was Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship, which of course was not as good as the I Quit match, but that's all right. It was still good. It was still great. But anyway, yeah, this was the first time in Hell in a Cell history where an I Quit match was combined with Hell in a Cell, and the match went on for like half an hour, but I thought it was longer. But it was absolutely fantastic to watch because of how insane Reigns absolutely beat the shit out of Jey Uso. As a result of the match, of course, Roman Reigns beat Jey Uso to retain the championship. And, how he did it, of course, Jimmy Uso was begging and pleading for Roman to stop with the damage. But then, of course, Roman applied a guillotine choke on Jimmy, threatening to murder him, to which Jey pretty much returned the favor that Jimmy did for him at Clash of Champions, which was quit on his behalf. So that's when I noticed that, I was like, oh, I see that. Here's the thing, there's not a lot of people who see the irony in some storylines, but me, I can almost see it within an instant. That's probably why I actually understood the ending of last year's controversial Hell in a Cell match.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. In the meantime, I'll start things off, actually, with heel Balor here. I want to ask, what was your thoughts on the I Quit Hell in a Cell match?
In my opinion, like you said, Christian, this match should have closed the show. The storytelling is what brought me into it. And I told you guys last week that this was the one match you needed to watch out for the most. When I found out it was going to open the show, I was like, why? I mean, I wasn't really upset, but I was like questioning. I was like, why? Why is this opening the show? Like, I know you even saw the Hell in a Cell match, but this one, looking back with the main event, this should have closed the show. That's my opinion. Anyways, it was a very good match. The storytelling is what brought me into it, like I just said. The selling, lots of cussing in this match, which I found hilarious. And I was finding this funny too. Is like, Jay kept throwing the F-bombs on stuff, and the bleeping team had to catch up with what he was trying to say. That'd be cracking up. But man, there was kendo sticks. There was a freaking there was kendo sticks, chairs, just everything you could think of in this match.
Not to mention, that reminds me. Actually, sorry for the interruption, but they also briefly turned the match into a strap match.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like, okay, now we're getting creative, which I liked. Mm-hmm. I liked how Jay wrapped up Roman in the strap, which was pretty cool, and tried to force him to quit, which obviously he didn't. I love the drive-by into the steel steps into Jay's head. That was pretty cool. And just the aftermath and just everything else that went down. And just Roman selling and crying, when Jimmy came out trying to, stop the carnage. I told you it's going to get violence. We told you it's going to get violent, but it didn't get to the violence that me and Christian thought it was going to be. I don't know about him, but they didn't get to the violence where I was like, oh my God, shut the TV off. I was more like, this is okay. This is good. I enjoy this. They had me freaking stunned in there, and obviously Roman retained, and man, it was fun. I like how everyone came out and tried to stop him, and I like how Roman at one time told the ref to shut up, which was funny. But yeah, man, it was incredible. Words cannot describe it, man. I highly recommend going and watching it. It's a good match.
Of course, that I've said before is, it seemed to me like, I don't know if any of you guys know this, but did you know they took a shot at last year's Hell in a Cell match? Did anyone notice it?
Wait, which was it?
Okay, here's the thing. During the I Quit match, the referee says, "I'm gonna call it. We're gonna just throw away the match again." And Reigns went in there. It's like, hey, you don't do that. You don't determine when this is over. I do.
And correct if I'm wrong, but when Jay said I quit, did he say his brother's real name or Roman's real name? Because I heard him say someone's real name after he said I quit.
Well, like Roman, I believe, said Jay's real name, Josh.
I thought his one was John. Or was that somebody? Or was that Jimmy?
Well, let's see. One of them's John. Actually, Jimmy is John and Jay is Josh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but here's like when they start. That was just also like last year when the referee was referred to Seth Rollins as Colby.
Mm-hmm.
But only in this case, the referee did not throw out the match. Even though, honestly, in my opinion, that could have also qualified as a quit. Because we've had I Quit matches that have ended like that in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So in some ways, it would not have been exactly controversial. Anyways, Steep, you're next. I want to know what your thoughts were on the Hell in a Cell I Quit match.
Like you and Willie already said, this was definitely match of the night. Don't know why it was the opening, because the other guys look at that like, dang, we got to top that. Because I think this match just stole the show. The storytelling, it was the acting in it was very, very excellent, well portrayed. When everyone started crying, that got me emotional. It got brutal. It was just a lot happening at once. We saw weapons. They were tearing each other apart, and Roman was destroying the entire match. I honestly think that, this match should have main evented, but I see why they kicked it off. Well, not really, but it was a good match. It stole the show. It caught everyone's eye. If you don't like this match, I don't know what to tell you.
That's all right. And Kmoney, what was your thoughts?
Oh boy.
Oh my God, that was that really should have main evented. When I first heard that was opening the show, I really thought that was like some rumor or something. Then I saw that it was actually opening the show. I'm like, wait, why? Why? This doesn't make any sense. And can we just talk about the acting by Roman when he was crying? when he was crying, he said, "I don't even know who I am anymore." And I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but did anyone else notice the Thanos inspired gear when he had the golden when he replaced his gauntlet with the golden one?
Yeah,
I did.
Mm-hmm.
that was very interesting.
And and it's kind of funny how it also took a shot at another Hell in a Cell match, which was Chris Jericho versus Triple H with that whole referee spot. You know when I think it was Triple H who threw Tim White into the cell?
Yeah.
Yeah, they took a shot at that one too. But hold on. Oh shit! But all in all, that was a great match. Even though it really should have main evented. If you ask me, the women should have opened the show. Oh, wow, I almost said main evented. What the hell's wrong with me?
It's all good.
And there's actually this one idea that I had for the opening of the pay-per-view. This is from a movie which would have fit in perfectly. If they were able to cuss, like drop the F-bomb for just one pay-per-view, there was this one movie. It's called Tales from the Hood. It's basically like an anthology movie where they tell like 3 stories. This funeral director tells like 3 stories to these teenagers, and in the end, turns out I'm not going to spoil the ending, but he said something that would have fit in perfectly. He's like, "This ain't no funeral home. It ain't the Terror Dome neither. Welcome to hell, motherfuckers." That would have been the perfect opening to the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, if you ask me.
That would have been weird, but okay.
And then he turned into Satan right after he said it.
Yikes. That would be definitely weird. Alright. So we're going to move on now. The next match that took place was Elias versus Jeff Hardy. The match was alright, but I think of it more as the calm down moment from that brutal Hell in a Cell match we just witnessed. As I kind of figured it would be. So, Elias faced Jeff Hardy. The match ended with Elias winning via disqualification when Jeff Hardy pretty much said, "Screw it, I don't care, I'm just going to hit you with your own guitar." It seemed like Jeff didn't even care about winning or losing the match. He just wanted to beat Elias's ass, and that's understandable. It's kind of weird, though. Elias still blames Jeff Hardy for that car incident, even though there's visible proof he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And then they flat out say that Sheamus caused it.
Yeah. But nobody's talking about Sheamus, and Sheamus is also on Raw, so what's the catch?
They're probably about to start this show. They're probably going to start that rivalry over again.
Well, we'll have to wait. In the meantime, Survivor Series, Sheamus is busy on Team Raw, so maybe it'll be a while. But until then, folks, Elias vs. Jeff Hardy was an alright match. I didn't really give it that much attention because I thought of it as the calm down moment from the previous match we just witnessed. But for what it was worth, I thought it was alright. So, I give it a thumbs up, I guess, in some ways like that. Willie, what'd you think of the match?
Like you just said there, Christian, once again, this was the calm down match. I didn't really pay attention to it that much. Oh, no, I did enjoy the ending with Jeff Hardy just smashing Elias and giving him a taste of his own medicine.
The way he sold that guitar hit was so funny.
Oh my God, he was dying on the other end as we were like on call during the show, and he was on the other end just dying. I was like, what's going on? Like, I went back and rewatched it. He's flopping around like a fish. I'm like, what the heck? It's so weird.
Like a fish out of water.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Kmoney, what was your thoughts on the Elias Jeff Hardy match?
Oh God. well, yeah. That's pretty much what you said. He didn't even give 2 shits basically about winning the match. He just wanted to fuck Elias up. And there was this bullshit that happened the night after where they said he was number 2 on the charts, and I looked it up. He's number 22. So that's a whole. So this is a whole nother set of bullshit right there. But other than that, and the goddamn ending where he where he sold that shit, getting hit by the guitar. That was a pretty decent match for what it was. Because I think they only had like 5 minutes or so to work with after that Roman match.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was good for what it was.
Yep. All right, and Steve, what was your thoughts on the Elias Jeff Hardy match?
It was good for what it was. Wasn't one of the matches I was more looking forward to. Yeah, that spot where, Jeff Hardy, all he wants to do is just constantly whack Elias with instruments. That's the only part I liked about it. Yeah, definitely not one of the more exciting matches, I would say.
That's a good thing they did not have it on too long. The match is only like 8 minutes long, but in my opinion, it was like a good enough time. Yeah, there's not really much for us to say about that one. That's why we're going to move on to the next match. This one was a lot more interesting. And that was The Miz versus Otis for the Money in the Bank contract. This was put in as a result because of Law and Otis. Last week, the Losers Lounge did not predict this match because we recorded our podcast prior to that match being announced. But I actually thought it would actually happen because I remember tweeting out a couple weeks prior saying, I have an idea. How about Otis faces The Miz at Hell in a Cell with the Money in the Bank contract on the line? And then boom.
Mm-hmm.
And during said match, The Miz got the win on Otis. But first, before that even happened, John Morrison got involved, and then he got ejected. that one moment again. He attempted to attack Otis with the briefcase. The referee caught him and threw him out, saying, "Get your ass out of here." But in the end, Otis brought The Miz back to the middle of the ring. And then all of a sudden, while the referee was distracted, Otis got hit by the briefcase from Tucker, allowing Miz to pin Otis and win the contract. And just when you thought that Heavy Machinery still has a chance to not exactly be split up, now they're definitely split up. And I'll be honest, I saw this coming. Not from Hell in a Cell, but I figured eventually something like this would happen, because let's face it, Tucker was getting hardly no attention, Otis was getting all the attention.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's understandable that he'd be upset and jealous about that. I wrote down in my Sins videos months ago for Elimination Chamber, I'm like, this is honestly, like, if this keeps up, eventually Tucker's just going to get pissed, and he's going to start to become like the Matt Hardy of a jealous rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
This is starting to sound a lot like how Enzo and Cass broke up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when it came to Enzo and Cass, I saw them both as getting the equal amount of attention, honestly. This is more similar to the Matt Hardy Jeff Hardy rivalry, because Tucker's basically quoted what Matt Hardy said: "My career's been mediocre while yours has skyrocketed to the top."
Yep.
Everybody was always talking about Otis this and Otis that. Otis is the one who got a WrestleMania moment, not Tucker. Otis got the Money in the Bank briefcase, not Tucker. Otis got Mandy Rose, sadly not Tucker. And then all this stuff went down, and, like, I'll be honest, like, I was surprised when that happened, like, so quickly, but I understood his reasons, and I'll be honest, and some people probably wouldn't like me for this, I don't blame Tucker for costing Otis the briefcase, because he deserved it.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're a tag team, you're supposed to be focusing on both members as equals. Like the Losers Lounge here. We're a stable here. But just because I'm the most famous one here, because of my status on YouTube, that doesn't compare to the others, that doesn't mean that I am any more than they are less. I make sure that we all get the right spotlight. We're not in separate spotlights. We're in one. One.
Exactly.
Boom. So I'll start with Steve this time. What was your thoughts on the Miz and Otis's match?
I'm just happy Otis is no longer Mr. Money in the Bank. In the beginning, I was for it. In the beginning, I was like, okay, let's see what they do with this. But honestly, it just became a joke at one point. He was just using it as a lunchbox, and they just kept on playing. Was swiping, no swiping with it. 1 week, this person will steal it. Then the next week, another person will take it. I'm just so happy Miz is now Mr. Money in the Bank, and I can see Tucker, doing his own single thing. Everyone preferred Otis over Tucker. I just want to see what they do with Tucker now that he's going to be doing on his own.
Yeah, and I'll go back to what you said about treating things as a lunchbox, because let's not forget that Damien Sandow treated his like it was a box of chocolate. But then again, he also lost the briefcase. But then there's also Brock Lesnar, who treated his like a boombox.
Baby.
I remember one time I actually tried to go to a Brock party once, but the crazy bastard just kept trying to suplex me.
Yeah, understandable in that case. Yeah, I don't think we would want to get anywhere near anybody who would definitely kick our ass after what happened in the lounge a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
But, Kmoney, what was your thoughts on the Miz and Otis's match?
It was just meh. I didn't hate it, and I didn't like it either. But it was just meh. Well, all I can say is Miz better be lucky that he's not Mr. Money in the Bank on SmackDown, because if he had to cash in on Roman, he would have been dead. He would have been destroyed by Roman.
That is.
But then again, he does have to quite possibly cash in on Randy Orton, but at least then he might actually have a chance.
Yeah, he did it before.
Well, who's to say history won't repeat itself?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and find out for that case. But what's also your thoughts on Tucker turning on Otis?
You can ask Will this. I was literally in shock. I stood there in shock like that dude from WrestleMania 30 for like 5 minutes.
There's a lot of dudes from WrestleMania 30 who were standing in shock. Which one are you talking about?
Remember that dude that became a meme when Undertaker's streak was broken, and he made that face. He's like, that dude.
There's a lot of those. Which one are you talking about?
He had that one shirt that said "Just Say Yes." I think it was like in the front row, and then the camera cut to him, and he was like, and then he ended up becoming a meme.
Huh. But I probably have to look at that again.
The white shirt.
I prefer not to look at that moment anyway, because that's still a moment that pisses me off.
I was just still looking like him for like 5 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, that hurt. That really hurt.
Understandable in that case. All right, and Willie, your thoughts on the Miz and Otis's match?
Match was just there. It was just there. I didn't predict it either, to be honest with you. Because obviously nobody knew what was happening. After it was announced, I had Miz winning for some reason. I wasn't really shocked, to be honest with you, with Otis turning, with Tucker turning heel. I was like, oh, cool. Miz is going to win. Yay. And yeah, as you guys know, I was an advocate for Otis with Money in the Bank, but it wasn't going to cut it. It really wasn't. Let's be honest here, guys. They only did it because people were begging for it. People wanted it. That's another thing. You don't listen to the fans. That's the main reason. They tried it. It failed. Didn't do anything. The briefcase it was downgraded heavily. And it's going to be a lot better on Miz. And hopefully Miz does good things with it this time and cleans up the mess that Otis did. Because I got to be honest, I did enjoy it. But once they started treating it like a joke and him carrying around the lunchbox with it, him just not really caring about, his own partner, which is obviously why Tucker turned heel. You're not caring about your own partner, and you got what you deserved on that night. So it is what it is. I'm happy Miz won, and yeah, that's all I gotta say about that match.
All right. Well, like in my opinion, though, going back to the Money in the Bank ladder match this past May, that was honestly when Otis won the contract. That was a shocking moment, and it was funny at the same time because it was by accident.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention, Otis honestly was the show stealer in that ladder match anyway.
Yeah, he was.
Whether it was trapping AJ Styles in the gym with those weights, or eating in the dessert aisle,
or starting a food fight,
Yep.
or crushing Rey Mysterio alongside Nia Jax.
Yep.
Mhm.
That was brutal. Like that was.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio had a bad Sunday that day.
Yeah, that was fantastic. All right, we're going to move on to the next match, which in my opinion was the next best match of the night, kind of tied with the Hell in a Cell match. The SmackDown Women's Championship with Bayley versus Sasha Banks in the rivalry that everybody had been begging for years, and we finally got it. See what happens when your patience pays off, huh? And the patience paid off because this match was fantastic. That was honestly the best women's Hell in a Cell match, right behind the one with Sasha and Becky. As a matter of fact, I think it was twice as good, honestly. When I saw that match, it's like Sasha competes in her third Hell in a Cell match. She finally got it. Yes, folks, Sasha Banks, your new SmackDown Women's Champion. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Now the tough task ahead of her is to see if she can actually hang on to the title.
AKA the Johnny Gargano effect.
Yeah. Last week I said Sasha Banks. I predicted Sasha to win, and I said that she should win the match because, the whole thing with Bayley, if Bayley, people wanted Sasha to wait till WrestleMania to win the title. I'm like, what good would that do, honestly? Because she's already won a women's title 6 previous times if you want to count the NXT women's title. She's already got the job done. The big thing is retaining said title. Not to mention, beating Bayley was not going to stop their rivalry. If anything, it was just going to make things even more intense. And I'm glad Sasha won because I'm thinking, right now, Sasha is going to be focused on Survivor Series, on Raw Women's Champion Asuka in the battle for brand supremacy. And when that takes place, that's when, of course, I believe, Bayley will definitely be involved in some way, shape, or form. And I'm predicting a rematch in a TLC match coming up at TLC.
Yeah.
I would see that.
I would say so.
Yeah, that'd be great. But their Hell in a Cell match was extremely creative. They did not just bring out the weapons, they customized them. Bayley, tying 2 candlesticks together with duct tape, looking like a Darth Maul double-bladed lightsaber.
It's funny that you say that too, because we was watching this with Ty Lord. Shout out to you, bro. And he said that he even called it a lightsaber when she duct taped it together.
Yep.
When she duct taped the candlesticks together.
It was really good, honestly. It's the weapon shots they used, the many different things they tried throughout the cell, and they got a lot of the cell involved as well. Made it really look like a dangerous Hell in a Cell match, huh? It seems they gave them the reins and said, "Go crazy in there, huh?"
And go crazy they did.
Yep. I like the way Sasha got the win, locking Bayley in the bank statement through the ladder, and then kicking the ladder, closing it in on her so many times. Gotta admire the torture. Yep. All right. Kmoney, I'll actually start with you. What'd you think of the women's title match?
It was good, but in my opinion, not as good as Roman versus Jay, but it was pretty damn close to being that good. And we was all watching it. We was like, oh my god, what the hell are they going to do now? And then she had this chair. The chair had 1-0 written on the back of the chair. And I'm not gonna lie, I really thought that she spray painted a dick on the back of the chair. I don't know why. I think it's just the way that it looked. But for some reason, I thought that Bayley was like, "Hey, you guys, I'm going to draw something funny. I'm going to spray paint a dick on the chair." But other than that, it was pretty good. And the way that she won, that was amazing. The way that she won.
Yep, very creative indeed. And Sasha finally gets her first win inside Hell in a Cell. It took her The third time was the charm.
Oh, man. But let's see how long she can keep it.
Yep. All right, Steve, what was your thoughts on the women's title match?
I enjoyed this match very much. I could just never got behind Bayley. I'm so happy that title's back on Sasha, even though she's probably going to lose it in less than a month. But it is what it is. Yeah, this match it was like the first match. They definitely killed it. It was probably my other favorite match of the night. It delivered. I think, yeah, Hell in a Cell matches always deliver for the most part, and this definitely proves it.
All right, and Heel Balor, what was your thoughts?
Well, it was a pretty good match. I did enjoy it. Was it the best women's Hell in a Cell match? No. I think it's overrated, massively overrated out there in the community right now. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but I think people are rating this even above Becky and Sasha from last year. In my opinion, that match was far better. This match obviously had the storytelling in this match, which I enjoyed. Not as good as storytelling when we have Roman and Jay. But this match was pretty good. It was violent. It was good. It did everything they did everything they needed to do. And I'm happy Sasha's champion. For me, I like Bayley as champion. I don't know anybody else, but I enjoyed Bayley as champ. I think it went on a little bit too long, but it did what it needed to do. She did what she needed to do. She made that title relevant. I don't care what anybody says. She will ever be synonymous with that championship title. And like everyone's been saying, let's see if Sasha can defend it in her first try. And we'll see how that goes. I did enjoy the ending of it as well with the creativeness of the finish, and I enjoyed it. I will give a little criticism this match. There's too many meteors in this match. Like, Sasha, chill, please. No, the meteors, man. You gotta chill with that stuff. Way too many, in my opinion. But yeah, I really enjoyed the match. It was pretty good. Good job, Sasha.
Yep, and if they did great in Hell in a Cell, who knows what they could do in a TLC match, huh?
And I actually had an idea for a Hell in a Cell match, but I'm going to save that for Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton.
Yeah. And of course, other things I've said about this rivalry, I'm like, if this thing can actually go well, it can make it actually up to WrestleMania. If done, I would think Royal Rumble should be a last woman standing match. But then after, let's say, Sasha will drop the title back to Bayley at the Rumble, but then go on to win the Royal Rumble match. And then she actually faces Bayley at WrestleMania in a 60-minute Iron Woman match. Kind of reminiscent of NXT TakeOver Respect, except it's twice as long.
And it has way more people.
Maybe. We still don't know about that. As of this podcast, folks, we have no idea if WrestleMania is going to have a full crowd, so can't exactly predict anything just now. However, we're coming up to November, which is usually around the time the damn WrestleMania tickets would go on sale, but of course this is a year where we have absolutely no idea what's going to happen, so we got to be careful. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next match. This one we might actually skip through really quickly. United States Championship matches, Bobby Lashley face Slapjack.
Retribution's not interesting anymore. I hope they get built up very soon. Blah, 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 blah. Moving on.
Yeah, the match was stupid. I didn't care for it.
Even though Retribution, even though they beat the shit out of us a couple months ago, I still have to say, you guys are giving up on, you two out there are giving up on Retribution way too quick.
Yeah.
I've been telling people they need to let the story play. They need to let the story play out. People are too quick to, criticize things and too quick to, be quick to do that. Buried. And that's the word right there. We keep throwing around, ladies and gentlemen. What I keep saying on here, buried. Y'all keep throwing around. Y'all need to chill with that. All right?
And why did Bobby Lashley face Slapjack? Why didn't he face T-Bar or something, or Mace?
I don't know. Maybe he just wanted an easy night. Who knows?
Well,
it was just
an easy night he got. Hurt Business is basically up 4-0, basically, against these guys.
Which is what the Lakers should have been against the Heat in the final, so I'm not going to get in there right now.
Wow, okay. Okay. Okay.
Wow.
Shout out to. Yeah. Oh, God. Steve, you got a comment on the U.S. title match, or pretty much not really?
Oh man,
This match was a snooze fest.
Yep.
That's all I gotta say.
Okay, let's move on to the actual main event, shall we? Main event, Hell in a Cell match for the WWE Championship as Drew McIntyre defended against Randy Orton. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good and dragged a little bit sometimes, but they got the job done eventually. And ladies and gentlemen, Randy Orton is the new WWE Champion, 14-time champion. And they're making a whole big deal about records here. I'm like, honestly, who cares if someone's a 16-time world champion? Or a 14-time champ. Or a 15, or maybe a 20. R-Truth's a 42-time champion.
gee, golly molly.
Yeah, and nobody can beat that. Seriously, I don't think anybody can beat that. Okay, as for the cell match itself, Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, I liked it very much, although I wondered why this was the main event. I mean, I get Randy Orton is the guy who wins the match and is WWE Champion, but the match and the storyline was not good enough, in my opinion, to be the main event compared to the other two. Maverick, this is the one with the least amount of story. Compared to Sasha versus Bayley and Roman versus Jay. Sure, they've been feuding since SummerSlam, but just because they've been feuding since SummerSlam doesn't mean their story is exactly as full of quality compared to the others.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just, like, after 2 consecutive failures, I just don't get, like, why this was, like, I don't know why we're doing this, honestly. I don't understand why we're doing this with Randy Orton to be champion. I mean, I get we got now the Fiend, Bray Wyatt's basically next for him, but why? I mean, Drew McIntyre's reign was going so great, honestly, and honestly could have been gone up to WrestleMania, if I'm being perfectly honest. I don't get what they're doing.
Yeah.
Next to the Fiend, who the hell else is left? There's not really any other good guy over there on Raw.
I would say Keith Lee, but he's pretty much a tweener at this point.
Yeah, and I've also said that myself that like the whole thing with Randy Orton, I asked my fans, like, why would you want Randy to be champion? I don't get it. The responses were so he could face Edge at WrestleMania. I'm like, okay, well that's in 6 months. What the hell are you gonna do until then?
Keep him occupied.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But how?
I do not know.
And not only does Randy have the Fiend putting down his neck, now he has to look out for the Miz.
Yeah, that is true. Then again, that could also work as well. A Miz and Randy Orton feud again, except this is 10 years later, and Miz has a lot more experience this time.
And this time, if he cashes in, there's not going to be an angry Miz girl in the crowd.
Although, what if there was on the monitors and you actually saw her just 10 years later, and she's in her 20s and everything?
Oh Lord,
That'd be so good.
Oh my God, it's going to be like looking into the goddamn future.
I know. We gotta definitely do a side-by-side image thing after that, huh? If that ever happens.
Oh God, let us hope that happens.
There's actually one point where Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre climbed the cell, and when that happened, I noticed Randy Orton actually had a lightsaber up there.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
When he told Drew McIntyre to chase him up there, I knew he had something planned up there. I knew he had something for him up there.
Yep, he did. And here's the thing, they called it, of course, a metal pipe that was just camouflaged red, but I'm like, the handle was black, and a majority of it was red, so I'm like, it just looks like a freaking red lightsaber. I'm like, oh my God, Star Wars is playing a big role here. But that could be because Sasha Banks is in the upcoming season of Mandalorian, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, promotional time. Ladies and gentlemen, Mandalorian Season 2 on the Star Wars is going to be premiered on Disney Plus Friday, October 30th. So basically on the day this video is released, if you don't already have Disney Plus, go ahead and subscribe. It is only $8.99 a month, and you can witness over 500 different movies, TV shows, nostalgia, you name it, and brand new original material, all for just $8.99 a month. So go ahead and go get Disney Plus now if you haven't already. It's almost a year old, and it's never let me down. I really enjoy it very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, go get Disney Plus.
It is such good shit.
And it actually is. I love going into advertising mode. It's cool. Anyway. So, Drew McIntyre at one point fell off the cell, or actually fell halfway down the cell through the table, as a shout out to Shawn Michaels when he fell in that exact same formation in the first ever cell match in 1997. Now, if he was paying tribute to Mick Foley, he would have fallen off the top of the damn cell.
Oh my gosh! And when I was watching this, and when Tyler was here watching it with me, we both was like, "Oh my God, Randy, why didn't you just RKO from halfway up?" And honestly, that would have been an amazing spot if they did that.
Probably would have, but that one would have honestly taken a whole lot just to do because they hardly had any rooms to balance themselves. And plus, Randy doesn't exactly go sailing to a different direction when he connects that move. So it would not have worked because one or both of them could have gotten severely injured from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think...
And there was this one match that I was thinking about for Hell in a Cell, like this one other stipulation, but I don't know if it will work. But the match that is obviously called Hell in a Cell, right? And they changed it to red because they want us to have that feeling that we're in hell.
Mm-hmm.
So, what better way to have that feeling than have an Inferno match inside Hell in a Cell?
Maybe, except that would be one thing, but what would be the point of the cage then?
It'll be there.
I get that, but what's the point of the cell if you're already surrounded by fire?
You know, stuff.
The cage on fire.
That's not making any sense. It'll also melt the cell.
Yeah, it would melt the cell, cause a lot of damage. Not to mention the smoke connecting with the melting metal would cause some really bad air pressure. So I'm like, the cell is designed to keep everybody out and whatnot, but that's kind of makes it redundant if the ring's already surrounded by fire. Now you definitely can't get out. Boy, I just turned this whole damn thing around, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. Sorry about
They
that.
love that idea, man. They love that idea.
Sounded good until logic came into the mix.
Damn your logic.
Okay, Willie, I'll start with you. What was your thoughts on the main event?
Oh boy, the main event. It was boring. It was boring. Towards the beginning and towards the ending, it started to pick up. I liked how Orton sneaked, attacked Drew, using his disguise as a camera person. That was pretty cool. And then it just really didn't pick up to me until the end, legitimately. Go back and watch my YouTube channel. Little plug right there. And just watch my reaction to this match. That really enough said. I was bored. I was only on Twitter throughout the entire time of this match until they started to pick up the action. I like I said at the beginning, Roman and Jay should have closed this show. I still stand by that. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, Randy Orton's the new WWE champion, blah, blah, blah. Drew's run is over, blah, blah, blah. I just think this match was just placed wrong. I think this match should have opened. It just didn't really deliver, in my opinion. And I think that, I don't know. I really don't know. I guess I really don't know what to say. I mean, I don't hate it. I didn't hate it. I just didn't care for it. Third time's usually the charm for wrestling matches, and obviously Hell in a Cells were rivalries and hint hint Sasha and Bayley. But match, it didn't click for me. The ambulance match was a lot better, and their first match at SummerSlam was a lot better than this match. I just didn't care for this. This was not my type of match, but this is not my type of stipulation for these two. I thought it was going to deliver. I'm not trying to hate on it. Hear me out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not trying to hate on it, but I just did not care. If you enjoyed this match, to each his own. I respect your opinion, but I just didn't care for it. I did, however, appreciate the ending spot with Drew going for the Claymore, and I'm thinking to myself, I haven't even said out loud, I'm like, dude, he's going to freaking move. He's going to move. You're taking too much time. Moves, RKO. And what I thought was going to happen afterwards was Orton was going to go into that trance again, just punt this guy's head in. We didn't even see the punt, which was kind of a downgrade for me, but it is what it is. Orton's the new WWE champion. I'm not upset about it whatsoever, although I do think that Drew's run should have continued into WrestleMania next year, but that's just me. And the reason, apparently, that he lost was because he's going to be captaining Team Raw for Survivor Series, what the rumors are saying, but that's apparently why he lost the title, but, you know, it is what it is. Oh, and ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this right here. Why the heck does Edge and Orton need the WWE Championship? As Christian said, we are 6 months away from WrestleMania. There's no need to start booking Randy Orton and Edge. Like, come on. That doesn't need the title in my opinion anyways. But that's WrestleMania. We're here to talk about Hell in a Cell, but that's my whole gripe and opinions about this.
It
just wasn't.
Yeah, plus I'm like thinking to myself, well, like, is everybody determined to make sure that Edge's only opponent ever is Randy Orton?
And do we need another part-time champion?
No.
Think about it. Edge is a part-time. We don't need another part-time. I don't care who you are. I didn't like when The Rock did it. I didn't like it when Brock Lesnar did it. I won't like it if Edge does it. I don't want a part-time champ. I don't care who you are.
And we damn sure didn't like when Goldberg did it.
Don't get me started on that.
Okay, what about what about this? Edge wins the title, WrestleMania, and then The Miz immediately cashes in.
I literally, when Miz won Money in the Bank, I was thinking to myself about that. Literally, like seconds afterwards, I'm like, yeah, Orton's probably going to win the title. And then I could totally see that happening. Miz winning at WrestleMania, deja vu. I guess with Seth Rollins all those years ago, Seth Rollins, that's going to be probably a live crowd. You know, there was a live crowd, and we don't know what's going to happen next year with WrestleMania. But yeah, we'll see. That's 6 months away. Who knows? Things could change, and we're not even talking about WrestleMania. Talking about Hell in a Cell, but you know, it didn't click with me. I'm not trying to hate on it, but it just didn't click well with me. Although I did laugh at the when they got on top of the cell and Orton found the freaking the pipe, whatever that was. And that was that was a lightsaber. I tweeted that. I was like, bruh, what's this other Star Wars references tonight? Even Sasha's gear was kind of a reference to Star Wars.
Well, Sasha's going to be in The Mandalorian season 2, so.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah,
I'm definitely excited. I'm excited to watch that, by the way.
Y'all need to watch The Mandalorian. I'm not even a big Star Wars fan, but it's pretty good. I don't recommend watching it. And getting Disney Plus. It's dope. But yeah, Orton and McIntyre. Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, like to be honest, I've never really seen like any of the Star Wars movies, but I've seen The Mandalorian, and I like it so far.
Okay.
I just started watching.
Pretty good.
Tell you what, Kmoney, we'll actually continue with you. Your thoughts on the main event?
It was pretty good. I don't think it should have main evented though, but it was still pretty good. I still stand by my statement that Roman and Jay should have main evented, because can you imagine how that ending would have happened in the main event and the ending shot of Roman and his uncle and his dad at the top of the stage? That was cool to close the show. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is, because that's already earned.
Yep. And Steve, what was your thoughts on the main event?
The beginning was slow. Yeah, this is the last match. I started to get tired around this time. At the end, where it started to pick up, I kind of glanced back at it. I just really think that the match was good. I just didn't like how it was paced and it was timed. Just felt like, it was taking too long.
I can understand that. I mean, the match was 30. It was the longest match of the night at 30 and a half minutes. And a lot of it was climbing. Not really much else to say about that, but it's all right. Randy Orton is champion. That concludes the night, and that concludes, ladies and gentlemen, our review on Hell in a Cell. And, of course, next week, we are going to be discussing and predicting the events of AEW Full Gear. And hopefully that is good. That's a good one because AEW is not exactly had a good reputation for pay-per-views. If you recall our last podcast where we talked about AEW, Willie and I ranted the living hell out of All Out.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, screaming our heads off.
I swear I
That's
needed
what we're known for now.
I swear I needed an aspirin after that episode.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, as a big thank you, of course, thanks to Kmoney for coming back, and good luck to you in the nominations as well.
Thank you very much.
And Steep, it was good to have you on the podcast for the first time ever.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. It was nice to be here. That's fun.
That's right. That is how it works. And, of course, Heel Balor, the one person who's been here on every podcast except for 2 episodes. Think about that. We're on 66 episodes. He's been on 64.
Exactly. I was going to give a shout out to our CFO losers, Double R Rester Ryan, who was sick, so he couldn't be here today. And also Connor Riley, who was out with life, obviously, doing his own thing.
As a matter of fact,
KELSEY still left out.
Speaking of Connor Riley, folks, send your thoughts and prayers to Connor Riley. Find his social media in the description because his little brother just went through surgery on his hand.
Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
So keep them in the thoughts and prayers. Because we love you, man. It's all good.
Love you, Connor.
Yep, it's going to be all right.
Connor.
And well wishes.
And ladies and gentlemen, of course, Heel Balor, you know what to do.
Of course I do. Do I really know what to do? Do we know what to do, ladies and gentlemen?
Wait, hang on. Before you do, we didn't do the questions yet, did we?
Well, we didn't have questions this week.
No, we didn't have any questions, sadly. That's for some reason people send in the questions, guys. Send them me on Twitter or anybody else in the lounge. You know, we love answering questions. Send them in the description below, or the description. Send them in the comments below.
Tell you what, I'll post I'll post on my social media before next week's podcast.
Yeah. I get them all ready because we probably won't be doing all that stuff. Yeah, we like to get them in as soon as possible. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if I'm allowed to plug this whatever, Christian. I don't know if I get fired or anything, but fuck it. We're also looking for future guests on the podcast. If anybody would like to join us, Christian, you want to let me know here?
Yeah. Okay. We have some people who are actually listed for a future episode. But I'm not gonna tell you who they are, obviously. However, if you are interested, if you're listening to this and you're interested in appearing on a future episode of the Losers Lounge podcast, try and contact me via my social media, whether it's a tweet or if you follow me, send a DM, and we'll ask you certain questions of what you'll need to do, because in order to be a guest on a podcast, you got to be available within the time frame of at least 3 hours or something like that, because there are times we don't know how long these podcasts will be. The other thing, of course, is you'll need to have a Skype, and you'll need to have an open mind, and at the same time, you got to have an optimistic attitude.
Exactly. Always optimistic and positive every time. That's what we're all about. Yeah, we make... Go for it, bro. Go for it. You're good.
No, I didn't say yeah.
Oh, my bad. But yeah, like Christian just said, all that stuff, and because we've been getting so many comments like, "Oh, can I join the Losers Lounge podcast?" Well, that's how you do it. Hit up Christian. Hit me up too as well. My DMs are always open on Twitter and all that stuff, and my social media. You can hit me up, and I'll send it right to Christian because he does everything around here because it's your channel, so we got to go through him. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I did give my rating for this show on Twitter. I originally gave it a 10, but then I gave it an 8 because I felt that some stuff kind of dragged, in my opinion. It wasn't a bad show, but it was good. It was very good.
I was about to say, if something is a 10 out of 10, that means that there was nothing bad about it whatsoever.
Exactly. Then like second flare, I'm like, you know what? There were some things I didn't care for about in this show. I was like, I'm at an 8. I'm being nice here.
All right.
Truth hurts sometimes, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, we are the losers. This is our lounge, the fastest rising podcast in YouTube history. We will see you all in the next one. Too sweet. Peace out.